eclipses and space technology. Solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. When the moon is between the sun and the earth in a straight line, the moon blocks some light from the sun to the earth, and the shadow of the moon falls on the earth. This is known as solar eclipse or eclipse of the sun. Solar eclipse can be seen or experienced by the part of the earth that is having daytime. The duration of a solar eclipse is only a few minutes. When the moon blocks the sun, it casts a shadow with two regions on earth, penumbra and umbra. In the umbra region, the sun is seen covered completely by the moon. This region is seen experiencing a total solar eclipse. The sky in that area will gradually turn dark and the area will be in total darkness for a few minutes even though it is daytime. The people in the penumbra region will not be able to see a part of the sun. They are experiencing a partial solar eclipse. An annular solar eclipse occurs when the moon is farthest away from the earth, as the moon appears smaller when it is far away from the earth. It does not cover the sun completely when it is between the earth and the sun. The sun can still be seen around the edges of the moon, and it looks like a ring. Sequence of the shapes of the sun during a solar eclipse. Warning! Never look directly at the sun without a proper eye protection. You can seriously hurt your eyes and even go blind. When the earth is between the sun and the moon in a straight line, the earth blocks the sunlight to the moon. The earth's shadow falls on the moon. This is known as lunar eclipse or eclipse of the moon. Lunar eclipse can be seen from the part of the earth that is having nighttime. Lunar eclipse only occurs during a full moon. The shadow has two regions, the umbra and the penumbra. When the moon is completely in the umbra, we can observe a total lunar eclipse. When the moon is partially in the umbra, we can observe a partial lunar eclipse. When the moon is in the penumbra, it appears less bright than it usually is. As the moon slowly moves out of the umbra, we begin to see a portion of the bright moon. Gradually, it turns to the full moon again. A lunar eclipse usually lasts for a few hours. Sequence of the shapes of the moon during a lunar eclipse. Let's know more. During a total lunar eclipse, the moon darkens and appears red instead of vanishing. This is due to the reflection and refraction of the sunlight through the Earth's atmosphere. Space technology. Since the earliest times, humans have been wondering about the objects they can see in the sky. To date, humans have developed many space technologies that allow them to study the objects in the sky and even venture into space. Astronomy is the study of objects in space, like the planets, the stars, the moon, and the sun. The inventions of telescope has helped man in the study of astronomy. A telescope is a device that enables us to observe objects that are far away in outer space. A satellite is an object that orbits around the Earth or any other planets. Humans have invented and sent a lot of man-made satellites to orbit the Earth. In 1957, Russia launched the first satellite named Sputnik 1. It orbits the Earth for 57 days before it fell back to our atmosphere where it burnt up. In 1961, Yuri Gagarin, a Russian astronaut, became the first human to orbit the Earth in a spacecraft. In 1969, Neil Armstrong, an American astronaut, became the first human to set foot on the moon. Space probes are made to help scientists get information about our solar system. They do not carry people on them, and most of them are designed not to return to Earth. For instance, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, which were launched in 1977, are currently out of our solar system and still transmitting information back to the Earth. In order to launch man-made satellites and men into space, we use a rocket to send them off into the orbit. The rocket needs to reach a very high speed to overcome the Earth's gravitational force. Now, space shuttles are used for frequently done rockets. A space shuttle is a reusable spacecraft that transports people, materials, and satellites to and from space. A space station is a complete environment for living and working in space. The astronauts can spend a few months there. Some of the space technologies are applied in our daily lives. There are different satellites orbiting our Earth. Each satellite has its own functions. Communication satellites transmit signal for radio and television programs. Weather satellites are used to monitor and forecast the Earth's weather. Earth observation satellites are used for environmental monitoring, natural resources exploration, meteorology, map making, and other non-military purposes. In 1991, our government appointed a company to launch Thailand's first communication satellite project called THAICOM. The first satellite, THAICOM-1, was launched on 17 December 1993. Now, under this project, 8 satellites have been launched, but THAICOM-1, THAICOM-2, and THAICOM-3 have ceased operations. We also launched 2 microsatellites, THAI-PAT-1 and THAI-PAT-2. They are used to survey natural resources and climates. We also launched our first Earth observation satellites, THEOS-1 or THEOS-1, Thai Earth Observation System, on 1st October 2008. This satellite provides information for map making, agricultural monitoring, forestry management, and flood risk management. TEOS 1 will be replaced by TEOS 2, which will be launched in 2020. Astronauts use health monitoring devices to monitor their health conditions such as heart rate, body temperature, and breathing rate while they are in space. These devices are also used by patients at hospitals and homes. Some of these devices are attached to shirts worn by athletes to help in measuring the health conditions and performance of the athletes. An athlete wearing a shirt attached with a health monitoring device. The foam materials used in the making of the seats of spacecraft are used as the padding of helmets, such as motorcycle helmets and American football helmets. The materials protect the wearer's head from injury by absorbing the impact of collisions. Besides that, they are also used to make the insoles of sneakers. Motorcycle helmet, American football helmet. Space technologies are also applied in the making of sportwear. For example, the materials used in spacesuits are used in the making of sport jackets, which can keep the athletes warm and dry. Some swimsuits are developed from space technologies. The swimsuits are made of materials that reduce friction and modify the flow of water over the swimmer's body, giving the swimmer the winning edge. Thanks!